So I enjoy the crap out of the show. More the second half, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because my Mount Rushmore of comedians is Richard Pryor, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, and I'll probably say Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
Are my 4 Mount Rushmore comedians.
Yeah.
And actually, sorry, George Carlin.
Yeah.
Not Norm Macdonald, God rest his soul. But I mean, they were very politically poignant in their time. Yeah. George Carlin spoke against the fanaticism of evangelistic religion in America. Dave Chappelle is a little weird these days. I mean, Team Turf, and I was just like, okay. My favorite is Bill Burr because he's the most honest when it comes to politics. He knows he doesn't understand it. Yeah. But he will always have something to say. And it's always hilarious because it's from his crazy, agitated Bostonian point of view. Yeah. So when you brought up Nick Mangwana, I immediately said, I'm like, this is going to be good. Yeah. This is going to be good. Yeah. Homeboy has been a menace for years.
Man, that guy. And that is the only part of the show. That is the only part of the show that wasn't written.
Wait, serious?
That whole part, because it happened how it happened is I was doing the show in blues, right? And I said something about Nick Mangwana and the crowd reacted. And I was like, oh snap, these people don't like this guy as much as I do. And then I just started going off about this guy. Like things were just, I couldn't stop. And it wasn't part of the show at all. So I had it in my mind. I was of the mind like, should I write? I was like, nah, let's just be honest. Because at that part, I didn't care whether it was funny. I just wanted to speak my truth about, it just happened. The stuff was funny. So, I just knew the parts where I left blank. I was like, okay, this part before we get to, because the Nick Mangwana part is just before the show enters like the third act. So I just knew like this part is empty. It just says Nick Mangwana. So we'll deal with it when we get there. And he's been a menace, man. Yeah. He's really gone out of his way. It's almost like he wants to, like, in terms of notoriety, catch up with things that people were doing from 1980. Because I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. But yeah,
he's what I like to call, I mean, I wouldn't say no disrespect, because as information secretary, your job is to disseminate information. But the manner with which you do it causes so much panic and friction. So people remember e-passports, right? We remember the night in July when he said mobile money was suspended. Now, I want you to understand, this was my second month at Texim.
Yeah.
I see it on Twitter, and everyone in the group, what the hell? Yeah. Because for so many businesses and so many people, mobile money has become a way of life.
Not for so many. It's the only way.
It's the only way of life.
It's the only way. No one is existing on cash. Really.
Yeah, so here's my thing. Here's my problem with Nick. And I get don't beat the messenger, because unfortunately sometimes he's just a person who delivers the message. But I mean, doesn't he go back to his homies and like, guys, timelines. I think I was because
But you see, that's I thought that as well, right? And you almost want to give him reprieve over you're just the messenger. But then I realized, no, he's not just the messenger, right? Because even when you are the messenger, right, you communicate things in a way that will let people know that I'm just the messenger.
Yeah.
You see the way that he structures information. He takes pride in the confusion that comes out of, like, he's taking pride.
Yeah.
Like if you've seen people that have been sent to communicate bad, you do it sheepishly. You almost don't want to do it, right? Yeah. Whether it's Munawaya's communicator, news, go tell say you beat around the bush, because it's bad news. You don't do it. Like, look at the way that he communicated the whole quarantine situation.
Yeah.
Right? When you're just the messenger, Nick Mangwana sent out that announcement before the president did. Right? Then what was the point of the president even communicating the thing? because we've already been told what you will be communicating. Like if you are the guy that wants to be the messenger, you let the president communicate.
Yeah.
And then you come and placate the audience because there's going to be confusion still. Mm-hmm. So we were confused twice in one night. Because Nick Mangwana came and said, people are going to have to quarantine regardless of their PCR test being negative. Right? If you're coming from ABC for 10 days and you're going to announce, so people are confused like, what? So what's the point of a PCR test? What's the point of being vaccinated? And where are these vaccine centers? When does this start? Is this starting immediately? Is this, right? This is around 4 p.m., 5 p.m. At 8 p.m., the president, via press conference, communicates the same thing word for word. So what is the point? It doesn't explain anything. It doesn't it doesn't have new information. And for the next 10 days, there's no explanation as to the questions that these people are now asking. Okay, so what do you mean? How much is the PCR test at the airport? Okay, so where am I going? How do I... Bro, the amount of people that cancelled flights, the amount of people that missed seeing their loved ones who were probably on their deathbeds, people that they hadn't seen in over 2 years, in over 18 months, because they couldn't afford. It wasn't a financial thing. I remember him saying, oh, if you can afford to come to Zim in December, you can afford booking a hotel. Nick Mangwana, is that the hill that you want to die on?
Well, it's the one he's been dying on for a really long time now. Because I don't think he factors in the fact that we as people, look at e-passports. You can't tell Munaga Badra $300 for an emergency passport. Could you've only got a year to use it before you have to pay another $200 for another emergency passport. You can't deal with our wallets like that. What's moments they do? Could you know that $300 here might have been a one-time purchase that was necessary because couldn't change the outside, right?
Bro.
Not could he.
And $300 you ain't save it one a whole community, a whole village. My $10 could eat $300.
And about one push for that within a year. But what frustrates me more, well, I think you touched on it, is no one then answers every query that comes in his mentions. No one comes back and be like, okay, this is this. Here's the price list for this. It's guys like us who now have to start making calls. Yeah. Yo, guys, you know how much the passport is going to cost? What is this? When the e-passport thing dropped, to be honest, most people didn't know what an e-passport was.
That's the thing.
People thought it was a digital passport.
That's the thing.
Like
people thought it was a PDF.
Like a literal digital passport. And then I remembered when I was in uni and I used to see, that thing on the bottom of the digital passports.
Yeah.
With my friends who lived in the EU. So they didn't even need to carry passports. They carried their IDs to cross borders, except from Ukraine, because Ukraine you had your passport. But I'm not in Schengen area where you just roam around. So they showed me the passport and then told me what the e-passport was. Like what it is. It's just a passport with a chip. It's just a backup for your information, so it's harder to think. So the way thing is, when I looked at the stats and I was looking at the people opening, this is one of those articles that I wrote and left because it was from experience. You've seen this crap, right? This is what it is for those who are asking what it is. God, the way you see people, I'm like, wait, y'all serious did not know what this was?
But you see, that's the thing where it's not so much that people didn't know,
the communication,
but you haven't given people an opportunity to react in a way. So it's kind of like, even if you were to say, if you were to come here and say, effectively, immediately, I don't know. Even if it's for climate purposes and you're saying, if the reasoning is, we are going to be promoting solar energy, we're going to be, green chakadaro. If you communicate it in a way that can only allow reactionary, people are going to start panicking. It's not.
It's crazy, man. And it's weird that articles written by other people, second-hand information, is more useful than the primary source. Why not communicate what that is? What did that video of the e-passport have anything to do with anything?
Because he's taking pride in causing that panic. Bro, information is easily the thing that makes or breaks a nation.
Yep.
Right? Information is easily the thing that I think we did an episode on propaganda about how ZANU-PF allegedly wins elections, right? And when we were doing the research about that. It easily came back to information, like just being in control of, state apparatus that allows, and this is one of the ways, right? Nick Mangwana is easily one of the most powerful people in the nation.
No doubt.
People don't realize how powerful he is because he is the brand ambassador of the government.
Wow.
He is the brand ambassador. You can talk about Chris Mtrangwa and but he's whenever people hear a rumor about the country, people go to that Twitter handle to confirm. Has he tweeted about it? Has he said anything about it? Has he, he's the brand ambassador of the government. That before him, it was George Charamba. That man has the power to say things that haven't happened, that are not going to happen, and say, oops. And he has done it before. So when you are that powerful, it comes with, this goes without saying, it comes with a lot of responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Because look at where we're going now. We're going into election period.
Yeah.
Right? There's already issues about how certain people are getting leeways in terms of how they move, in terms of how certain events are happening, in terms of how. So imagine a situation whereby you have this guy with all this power, but doesn't have the responsibility that comes with it. But then you start realizing that, no, this is not indiscipline. This is intentional. There's almost an intentionality to it where the chaos is designed in a certain way for a certain outcome, right? If there's enough chaos, people will be distracted enough to. Just recently, did they not put out stats of voter registration?
And then they were made in yesterday. That's 2003, 900 and something. I'm like, 2000 doesn't gloss over the fact that it's inaccessible. There are 2 buildings in Zimbabwe. I remember berating the guys in the editorial meeting, and I was like, guys, pane 2 more buildings in Harare would be registered to vote. 6 million people not to 2 buildings to register to vote. Okay, my satellite programs are as well. But why not, number one, just have something like online voter registration? I know it's a little bit beyond the point, but why not have things like that?
But you see, that information is communicated to do what?
Chaos. And then you're Buddha, and then it's a joke, and then it distracts. So much is happening in the undertone. We don't get
if you remember the tweet where he actually shared the voter registration
with the men and women and stuff.
I might be paraphrasing. No, I'm not good. I am paraphrasing, but it was to the effect of, with all the noise that you guys have been making about voter registration, these are the numbers of voter registration. And then here's the thing that I don't know whether they realize or not, but you're the Minister of Information for the government. Why are you celebrating that there's poor voter registration? Why are you celebrating that there is poor voter? Why? Do you see what that is communicating?
Yeah. It's like you don't want it to happen. You don't want that.
Why are you that was the whole thing. Like, why is this should be worrying to you
Zimbabweans? Why are you not registering?
Because if you've been communicating to people that you guys have been doing work, if you guys have been saying that you've been working as hard, you've been fixing A, B, C, D, why are you celebrating that people are not registering to vote? Like, why is that a thing?
It should be concerning because your electorate is going away. Your base is going away. So you need more people to file in. You know what? Yeah. I think there's one thing I always tell myself when I talk about people in power. You never truly understand what it's like to be in the halls of power.